This is the blended braid. You guys all have your pattern? Isn't that nice? It's just so beautiful. Cool. Okay, Teresa ran away, but she's going to help me. And this is interesting. We did do the braid a couple of years ago, but this is all new technique, a new look. Roll the drums. Okay, so let me see. So it was 10 years ago?
I think so.
Ah, so this is from the old braid pattern. Good morning, you got here just in time. And it's really cool. You love the braid? You know what? I think people love the braid. Oh, definitely. This is the old pattern. Just in case you guys like the old one, you can get it. Yep. But anyhow, this is the template that you need. It's actually done with a 2.5-inch strip set. Yay! Don't we love those pieces already cut? The strips already cut. And what's unique about this one is that we have the braids, the lengthwise braids, little framing border in our pattern. It's a 1.5-inch width, but the rickrack just adds so much charm, doesn't it? It just makes it so cute. And this particular one, the lattice in between, just pulls out all of the different colors that are in the braid. That is a miracle, don't you think? How did that happen? And then look at the little polka dots right inside the flowers. We pulled it out into the border and the binding. Is that charming? Three braids. And let me see, it's just my height. Oh, thank you, Gail. Okay, so that's the old, and now in with the new. And now we're getting modern. Oh! So what's different? The squares. The squares, we added the little squares going right down through there. And this time, see the little framing border, 1.5-inch. And then the lattice, 2.5 inches, and then the beautiful border. Teresa did this one, and that is the one that's on the cover. It's just beautiful. Okay, so this time we made the braids the same that are opposite each other. They're the same going across. And whenever we got the package of 2.5-inch strips, they were just arranged so beautifully that we said, don't destroy that. Let's just use it. And so it has the blending. And then to make it even more interesting, instead of making every braid exactly the same going across, you can see that the braids are like staggered. And to me, it's just like I just call it cutting the deck of cards. It's like you have the order of the braids first, but then whenever you want to go to the next one, you take what was at the bottom and put it at the top. And you just keep on, okay, what's at the bottom? You put it at the top. Okay, we'll show you the back, but she staggered it, and you tell them now what you tell them.
You stagger depending on your colors. You don't want to break one of your color waves, you know. Sometimes it's 2, sometimes are 3, 4, depends. And that's what we did. It's not exactly 3 or 4 or 2. It's whatever your colors, you know. If you have 3 purples, then bring all those 3 purples to the top. If you have 2 greens, put those greens, and it looks.
And then you see that roll. And I really believe that your quilt happens based on your 2.5-inch strip set. Yeah. And I'll show you a couple of them. Teresa was really good at blending. Is that beautiful? Whoa. Isn't that beautiful? The 60s? Mara, that's not the 60s. That was fresh off of the Quilt in the Day shelf. I don't think that's been around since the 60s.
Lava lamp. Yeah, lava lamp.
A lot of lamps. That's cool. So I'm going to show you. Look at this set of 2.5-inch strips. Can you see, and I'm going to show this to Eric, how easy this is. I'm holding on to this because it's really easy. If you want to just follow all of the colors the way the designer placed them, I mean, look at that. You can just see a beautiful blended quilt right there, right? So it really depends on what you pick up and what you end up doing. And so in the end, everybody's is different. Yes! It's really fun. Okay, so, and there's also a couple of other different things here too. So we're going to show Patty's. Oh, she's going to move mine very carefully. Put it away. Okay, Gail left. This is Patty's. This is my new line of fabric coming up. Ooh, it's called Ellie Ann. No, Zilly Ann. I keep on saying Ellie Ann, Zilly Ann. It's after this cool little town in Pennsylvania called Zillionople. And the founder's daughter was called Zilly Ann. Ah, and so this is kind of like my hometown, very Victorian, old-fashioned town, old-fashioned looking fabric. Now maybe this is from the 60s. But anyhow, Patty did a couple of interesting things. She did, the braids appear to be going down. This row, the braids are going up. And this one, she alternated, they're going down again. And she just put groups together. So she did this, the burgundy, how many, she did 7?
7 colors and then repeated 3 times.
7 colors and repeated it 3 times. So we have the picture and everything. And it's really interesting. This is just a beautiful plaid, the florals. This piece, you're never gonna guess it. I'm looking. Ah! Anyhow, one of them's called Irma's Garden. And this little one, this little print, this one is named after my grandmother. Is that cool? So we have all the different names. It's roses, beautiful roses in all scales. The story goes that when Zilly Ann moved to Zillionople, she had a home on Main Street, and from Main Street clear to the next block, she had a garden full of flowers.
Was this a real person?
It's a real person. It's a real person. No, we have this historical book and I have her picture. That is the funniest question. She's a real person, Zilly Ann. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, this one, you can see that it's wider. And let's see, go like this. Okay, goes like this. So this one, Patty is very old-fashioned. She hand cut her 2.5-inch strips. And so these are a little, they're wide, but they still have the 1.5 or the 2.5-inch squares in there. So this one was hand cut. Patty just says, I gotta hand cut my 2.5-inch strips. And next we come me. And I'm modern. No, I'm crippled. And so actually what I did is use my AccuQuilt cutter. It is the same shape, but you can see that this time these are shorter, right? They're shorter. And just the difference, it's just like, it's about an inch and a quarter or so. So whatever suits your taste. But this old finger is just giving me so much trouble that I love my AccuQuilt cutter. And also, I bought a paper bag from Moda called a scrap bag over there, and I loved it. It was just so much fun. And also, I didn't read the directions. The I did. I did put that little narrow framing border, the 2.5 inch, but then I didn't read the directions and I went straight across the top because I thought it looked really cool.
It does look cool.
I think it looks great.
I didn't have my book with me. I just did what I thought would look good. And that's what you all do too, right? And I love the border on it. And also, I didn't have good blending. And I realized Teresa and I think different. I just couldn't think blending. And so I can put a chunk of those together, and then a chunk of those together, and then a chunk of those together. But see, I still shifted them. That's okay, right? It looks good, so it's a little bit different. I'm glad. Yeah, it's shifting chunks. That's the new name for it. Shifting chunks. I really like it. And so you're bad. Okay, but I'm very economical. I did not want to waste one thing. I have more chunks, a long row of chunks. Look at this. I have such a long table, I've told you before. I can put, when the Quilt Guild comes, I think I've had like 16 around this table. It is long. Wow. And the braid is just so fun to just keep on adding to it. Just chunks of this color and then go to chunks of that color and chunks of that. And it just works out. It's very smooth and very fun.
Cool.
Very cool. I really like it. Oh, yes. Okay. So in that scrap bag, they're not always the same width. And so I cut strips that were narrower than 2.5. I cut them back, and then I just pieced them together around the outside edge. And then actually, oh my gosh, this was another quickie. Teresa wasn't here, and I couldn't find a binding fabric. And my backing fabric was pretty wide, so look what I did. I just brought my backing. This is just the old-fashioned idea. You bring the back around to the front, stitch it down, miter the corners. It worked. So it's kind of like all just a left. It's pretty. I know, I love it. I just can't wait to use it. Oh my goodness, was that enough for a show? Whoa, are you inspired? Oh, good. I want to have inspiration here. Oh, we have lots of going on here. Okay, so we're going to turn to our pattern. Let me see which one. So, let's see. Oh, one's open. One is open. Okay, and you can see right on the front of your pattern, it says Rotary cut and AccuQuilt cutting are included in this. So you can do it either way, right? You can do it either way. And basically, it tells you right in the beginning that just to get a 2.5-inch roll, but you're going to see for like the baby quilt, which is my size, I only needed 13 2.5-inch strips. So how many are usually in a whoops. I told the answer. In a 2.5-inch roll. Benartex calls it a strip pie. Moda calls it a jelly roll. So if you only need 13, how many baby quilts? This is like, yes, how many? 3, you can get 3. This is like, I'm still doing my math with Jonas. Or look, if you do a lap, you need 18. So how many laps could you get? 2. You could get 2 and a couple left over for a table runner, right? So we didn't put in all the yardage, but it's easy to do. All you keep on doing is just sewing the braids together to make the length that you want. It's very, very simple, and it's so fun you don't want to stop. That's the way I feel. Okay, so Teresa has this beautiful layout along here. And this is what we did. Do you see, I'm on page 4. You can do this with either AccuQuilt or with rotary cutting. To just take your strips and just line them up. And just see how you can work the blend. And basically we did it here too. We just did it, we picked up, this is the bottom. Okay, so we just took the strips and just started laying them out and playing with them. And it's Teresa's tip that you spread them apart, give them a little distance, because the more distance you can see if you like the blending or not. And you just take your strips and just change them around and play with them. So it's just really fun to do. And actually, we cut half of this already, and we have one whole braid already done. So look at that. Let me turn it around this way. And so you can see how the greens go together. And then we switched out. We went from a little bit of green into a little piece. This goes together. And then we totally switched into some purple. And ooh, we couldn't wait to get to the orange. The orange blends into the red. Isn't that pretty? It's really, really pretty. Really, really pretty. Okay, so Teresa's gonna cut, right? So today we're using our rotary cutter, so I want you to turn to page 6, and you actually put them so that the fold is on the left edge and the salvage is on the right. And the reason is, and you can go ahead and just go ahead and stack that up if you want. The reason is because I want you to get 4 cuts out of a half strip. And sometimes you have narrower strips. And so if you start at the fold and cut toward the salvage, sometimes you have to skimp into a little bit of the salvage on the edge. And so Teresa's cutting off the fold on the edge, and now she's going to take her wedge. This is the wedge. And when you work with this, you have the wedge. I'm going to just turn it so Eric sees it good. The words quilt in a day and wedge across the top. Okay? And you want to be consistent with this. Why do I know all these things? And so, okay, so Teresa actually took the first couple of greens. Okay, she's got the first couple of greens, and we still have the darkest green there, and she's got 6 layers. So she trimmed off the fold on the left edge, and now she's got it all lined up. Oh my gosh, she has to go like that. And cut, and then the second one, she's just gonna turn, and again. Okay, now, wow, she's left-handed. This is like really different. This is scary. Okay, so she's got those 2, and remember this is half of the folded strip. So this is like 2 of them that she's got right here. And this will be enough for 2 braids by the time she's done, by the time we're done. Okay? Okay, so now you're gonna just stack these up. I think how about we turn it? Okay, so
now they're all the same.
Yeah.
After you take them apart.
Yeah,
okay?
let me just
There.
take this one.
Okay.
It's all ready. See, you know what my problem is? I'm dyslexic. It's very confusing. And all I want to say is you should figure out which method works best for you. Because it's like, oh my gosh, I get really confused. Okay, so now I'm going to start stacking these. And so if you take the top two, they're a pair. They're going to be mirror image, okay? You see? They're left and they're right. They're left and they're right. And so what I'm going to do is just turn them upside down and make a second stack going here. And so this is for my second one, but I'm going to take this one is the next green and put it. I'm just stacking these wrong side up now because then I'm going to flip them. And while I do this, she's going to have them all cut. See why I like to have Teresa helping me? And why I cut the, why I like to use the AccuQuilt cutter. So they're mirror image. The reason I've got them wrong side up is because whenever I turn them over, they're going to be just right. Right?
Yep. Right.
Okay, I'm into the green. Or into the orange. Oh my gosh. I've got green on my mind. She said, what color do you want for framing border? And I said, green. Okay, now, that was the top. And this is the bottom.
Got it.
Right? Is that good?
Yeah.
This is the bottom, and you work from the bottom up. You work from the bottom up. Okay? Okay, so now you've got your two stacks there, and they're mirror image. And so now let's just turn the page. Okay, and look at the top of page 8. Aren't my pieces turned exactly like those pieces? I just kind of think you make a point. You make a point. I'm making a point here. A point. A point. Cool. And so the next thing it says is take your right stack, right? Right hand, left hand. Listen, when I got married, I couldn't figure out which hand to put out for my ring. I'm really dyslexic. Take your right hand, and pull it aside. Just pull it aside, and look at this. I already have all my little 2.5-inch squares cut. But we didn't bring stuff to demo that. Do you guys know how to cut 2.5-inch squares? Good. Huh? You hope so? Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this stack of 2.5-inch squares, and I'm going to sew squares on only my right stack, right? On my right stack. So it's pretty easy. I do have my sew straight on my machine. Just take it and you flip it right sides together. Okay, I'm going to put up my foot and choose the 1/4 inch. And Teresa, do you have the iron hot?
It is hot.
It is hot. Okay, so
Here too.
what's that? You're hot too? Oh my gosh, I'm hot too. What were we thinking? Okay, and you can, oh, how about I am going to just take this one, and I'm going to take the next one and flip this right sides together, and I'm just going to go straight through this whole stack and sew the 1/4 inch seam along here on my white squares. Okay, Teresa, would you please show that my favorite box while I sew a couple of my favorite box.
This box.
That box. And
How many of these do you have?
I tried to get another one, but Orion said I already had 3 of them. You just got. So show the little. I thought, I just gonna put one in there, but now I just keep on adding. And that one is a braid that I've been working on. You can show it. I worked on this last night and I did straighten it, but all of the strips lay out nice and flat. And I did put my braids on the top. They are from a really cool line. It's called designed by Riley Blake, and the designer was Nancy Zeman Productions. And so when I saw it in my warehouse, I had to get it. And I just really liked it. And so on that one, you can see I did chunks. I did chunks. Do you see, Brenda? I did chunks. And so I just love the little check and such. And I am going to be teaching baby lock later this year. And I thought, oh, I've got to get this quilt done. Because you know that Nancy Zeman Productions is owned by Baby Lock now. In case you didn't know that. Yeah, it's been many years. Okay, you know what? I just now did all 13 of these. Are you excited? I know. I kept you busy. Okay, so you can move that box out of the way. Isn't that great? You can never have too many. Okay, this is what I love. See how you have them all done. Wow, aren't I showing off? So now you can just go ahead and put them on top of your pressing mat. And I like to do them like that. I like to just set the seam real quick and then just lift it up, whoop, and just go right down over each one of them in the drawer. Yep, and this is the handiest gadget for this. My cutting gizmo. Isn't it easy like that? And I have those in order and these are in order. Exactly the same. They're going to be across from each other. Sound good? Yes. Okay. Okay, so now I've got them all stacked up. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. So just go whoop, whoop. And you have to make this noise, whoop, every time you cut. Is that good? Yeah. Except I'm really sorry I didn't start from the back.
You can turn it upside down. You just turn it upside down.
Turn it upside down? Okay. Just turn it upside down. I should have started from the back. Right? Yeah. You should have started from the back. Because now we're going to have the last one on the top. Ooh. Okay. All right. Good. Still in order. Whoop. The top is on the top. And so I always like to put, because this is the right side and this is the left side. Okay? The right and the left. And now you're done putting all those little squares on, so you can go ahead and move this out of the way. And I was thinking as I was doing this, you just like marching. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Right? Okay. So, should I make another one just like that one? Sure. It would be easy for me.
Well, why don't you shift it?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Want to start with this one? Yeah. That's kind of where the color changes, right? Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the bottom. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. On the bottom.
You did.
Okay, so now comes the braid. Okay, so now we're right on page 8, and we've got everything done. And remember, left, right, left, right. So start with the left, lay it like that, okay? And, oh, this is cool because they're already wrong side up. And take the matching one with the 2.5, just place it right sides together, line it up with the top. Okay, and now let's get this in there and put your foot down and get your stiletto and just use that so straight and just keep everything lined up. and just zip right across there, okay? Zip. And I will tell you that I like to do one at a time. Teresa does 4 at a time. But I'm happy. Okay, now this is what you say. First you say left, right, left, right. But now you say open it up and tuck it under. Okay. Open it up and tuck it under, okay? And that's it. Open it up and tuck it under. So it goes under there. Okay, so now left, left, there, right? Oops, left, left, correct? Flip it right sides together and just line it up at the top. Okay, foot down and just zip right along there. And you have this tip hanging out at the bottom. A big old tip, just let your big old tip hang out. And when you get to the bottom, okay, cut your thread. Okay, and we have to turn it right side up. Now, I'm gonna open it up and tuck it under. See? It's now under here. This was the piece I just added on. I'm pressing it away. Okay? So then you take the matching one, and this is when you want to line up this seam. So I always just flip it right sides together, and when I flip it, I just push this. I push the seams together. And so they're all going to be locked. They're all going to be locked in the end. Are we doing good? Yeah. Okay, so I figured that it takes about 20 minutes to keep on going on this. Okay, so underneath the seam is going up, but if you pressed it good, it doesn't matter. Okay, left. This is right. And now you say left. So you open it up and tuck it under. Open it up, tuck it under. Oh, you can. This would be a lot of back and forth. I use my nails. I use my nails, and actually, and they're not acrylic or anything, they're natural, but I just take that hair, skin, and nails so they're strong. Okay, so I finished a braid, and now what do? Left, left, and so when you put it there, you have to see, yep, it fits, right? It fits. Okay, flip it right sides together, and now you're not fighting with your seam at all. Put your foot down, put your needle down, and this seam just lays flat. And at the bottom, you have that big old tip hanging out. All right. Okay, cut your thread, and sew that. All you got to do is remember left, right, open it up, tuck it under, open it up, tuck it under. And that's what I just keep on saying to myself. And then it just works out really cool. So the perfect thing, the way you're sewing these together, the seams are going to lay nice and flat from the top down. Oops, how about I'll get up and show you now. I didn't know she had to run across the room. I'm sorry. Okay, so you just keep on doing it, right? Open it up, tuck it under. Open it up, then see how it's coming along there? Ah. Isn't it coming? Yeah. It's really, really good. It goes nice and fast. Yeah. But now turn it over. And you can see, let's start at the top. The red is the top, remember that? Okay, so now the way you've been pressing them, you can just take this and go straight down. Very carefully. And see how they're all going to lay nice and flat? That is nice. That is nice. And just keep on pulling it along. So my idea was that she was going to be doing this while I was sewing that all together, but now she's going to have to sew it all together. That'll show her. Okay. So look at that. Beautiful. And then you can just flip it over. So now that it's finally all pressed, then it's so nice. Flip it and do it on the opposite side. And one thing, with this, the way it is at the top, if you, if you really want to keep this seam right here, if you want to keep this color, then what you need to do is take one more. Just take one more and see, you can put it right on there. And then, because we're going to trim this, we're going to have to trim this. Okay? And your pattern says add one more piece right now. Look up at the top and tell me if it says that. Yes? Add one more piece right now. Someplace?
On page 12, number 3.
Add one extra piece. And that's so, I love that red. If I got rid of that red, I would be so bummed.
Yeah, no, that's really pretty.
Yes, it's very, very pretty. Okay, so I've got that all done. And now I just decided to start and put the bottom one, especially because there's a bit of red in here. And this you're barely going to see. But anyhow, you still have to do it. Okay, so left, right, left, right.
So the one you put at the top should be the one that's on the bottom?
That's the way I've decided to do it because we just keep on repeating ourselves. And if you want to make this even longer, you can just start at the bottom and keep on adding it to the top. Make it as long as you want. And so it works out really good.
See, I started with the green, and then this is my 2 sets. Then I'm going to continue with this color. You see it? Okay, and so on. But every time I started with one, that's my one. So then I turn how many colors in the top, so I continue. Then in this one, I started it with this. Oops, I have a pin. I started kind of like my purples, and see, it was hard for me to decide, do I keep this in the purples or in the greens? And I just went with that. And then that's my number 2. See? And then went there. And then this is all for the 1, 2. Eventually they're all in order. And then this is the number 3. And see? You get it? And in a group.
That's
see?
faster.
That. And then this eventually, I'm going to add this to it, so it makes all the sense. See it? And then I can put it aside. Then I chose to do the 4th one too. See it? There, now it's reds. You see it? There. Yeah. There, does it make sense? You know?
It was good that I started off like that, huh? I
There
did
is
the
my
easy way.
4, and they're all in order. And you will finish it there, okay?
And I think she could finish all 4 about the same time I finish one. Okay. What did you say, zippity-doo-dah? Zippity-doo-dah. Okay, so we don't want to get these all messed up either. So that's ready. But now I want to show you how to trim off the top. Woo! It's still not going to be enough. You know what? We're going to have a little bit more fabric up there.
You can do it from the bond that you cut in the back.
Oh, yes, I can. Okay. You're right. You know why? It's because my sister did it with this one, not me. Okay, so actually she did it rotary cut. Okay, this is the bottom, right? That's what I started with, right? Okay, so now I'm just going to take the bottom, and I want to keep this 1/4 inch seam right here. See? I have that 1/4 inch seam. I lined it up straight along here. And so I'm just going to take, whoop, and I'm not going to get rid of those. Oh, okay, so there's my square. And there's nice and straight. I could do the bottom. So I'm going to pull it up. Pull it up, pull it up, pull it up. Let us see. Ooh, look at this. What if we just put this right on there? Ah, it's still a little tight. Huh. Almost. I could add any color as long as I want it, right? But yeah, so, but see where I have to add it? Okay, now if I want to save my red, and I have to cut it 1/4 inch up. Okay, see? I want to put right there, and see, all you need is just a little bit out on each side. Right? Just a little bit on each side, and then this is all going to get trimmed away. That's going to get trimmed away because that was extra, right? That was extra, but I'm going to flip it right here. So I have that, and I'm going to flip this guy right there, and I'm letting my tip hang out. Woohoo! Tip hang out. And now I'm just going to sew up and down, right? And sew that on there and trim that up. Okay, so I'm just sewing right along here. Ta-da! It's so cute. I love it. So when we started with this, I honestly didn't think it was going to be cute, but I like it. See, this is what is the deciding factor. Teresa goes, Orion has a lot of inventory on that. Oh, okay. I know what that means. I know what that means. Okay, and so now I'm just going to press these out and trim it off. And, okay, so do you want to press that for me? Just press it up. And we are going to get this all ready here. Lots of space. I like this cutting mat. Okay, press it over. We're seeing that you really need to have a lot whenever you do with that.
With the square.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but look,
You're not
I've got,
ready.
I know, but she did it fine. Okay, 1/4 inch, save the red, line up the 1/4 inch, right? So it was really just a little tip. It's just a little tip that I need. There's my 1/4 inch. I've got that. Gonna trim this off here. Ooh, ooh. And now you understand? Yeah, but you know what? When you try to trim that off and there's nothing there, you will understand. It will come to you. Oh, I need a little bit of fabric right there. Okay, so I am just lining up, and you can go ahead and see, you can actually follow a line. It's like the 1/8 inch line that I am following, going right down here. I'm not trimming off very much. It's called sliver trimming. You know what sliver trimming is? And watch this. That's sliver trimming. That is just, it's pretty straight. It's really good. Okay, and then so slide it along. And Teresa, I think you really need to take the big quilt off the wall, don't you? Just so we can go ahead and put the, is that too hard? Okay, wait. Just lay it on the table. I looked at that and I said, oh, that's really long.
Yeah, you can
See if you can,
mat.
see if you can clear off the table a little bit. and we'll lay out what I think is going to be nice lattice. Ooh, okay, sliver. Ah. And one more. This is really pretty. This is really amazing how that all lines up. There's such a little bit to trim. It would be nice if it were the same width the whole way down. That would be really good, wouldn't it? Yeah, I hate to measure, but anyhow, okay, I'll do it. Okay, it's about 8 1/4. Ooh, 8 1/4. Ooh. Oh my goodness, 8 1/4, 8 1/4. Okay, so now we have the braids, and now we need to have the green. Look how pretty. Let's see how pretty the green looks. Okay, it was just a guess. I highly recommend you audition what it's going to be, but let's just see if this is pretty. We did orange. We did. We did almost every color. Okay, look. I think that's going to be really pretty.
And that's your lattice.
Yes, and that's my lattice. Okay, so if you read the pattern, what it says is to flip these pieces right sides together, pin them. Pin them, because this will stretch on you, and sew them. Do the opposite side, pin them, and trim the edges. And then you're supposed to sew little pieces on the top and the bottom. Don't do what I did. I liked what I did. I liked what I did. And so then after you have your little framing border, the lattice is 2 1/2 inches. It is the white strip. We have 2 1/2 inch rolls that are white. I see one of those rolls. Oh, Ryan, would you give me one of the white rolls? It's really, I really like that. I thought he was going to show. Yeah. If you want, you can get a whole roll of all white. You can cut your 2 1/2 inch squares first from this, and then in the end, then you can just lay this out for your lattice. Okay? Okay, so let's, could I have the little one that I started out, Teresa, and more green? Ah, look how nice she's keeping it. Aren't we glad?
There we go.
Okay.
And one another.
Okay, so now we see these ends. Oh, I know. I'm just faking it. Okay, so I'm just showing you. See how it's staggered? And so this is going to go right like this and more green. What do you think? It looks really pretty. I like it. It's really pretty. So I think the point is almost anything you can make it work. Just do what you like and lay it out and play with it until you see how it all goes together. Cool. And that's all that I have for the braid. Yay. I think it's very, very pretty. I like it.